Judge Beethlow in the federal court case got his first taste of LIEnette CROOK today. And at one point he yells, "Stop! We are not doing this!" And at the end, Crook never hangs his phone up and he literally calls the judge a D, you fill out the rest of it, bag. In an almost 1 hour conference call between myself, Randy, the judge, LIEnette, and Crook. Oh, so much to unpack and unload. Absolutely insane. And I didn't even think it would be this insane. And the ending, and it's all caught and recorded. And Crook has no clue. Well, he's going to after this. So 4 minutes until the meeting, I get in on the Zoom. Because the last meeting we had, there was this horrendous echoing. And most people have theorized it was probably because LIEnette was recording on her end. There's no doubt about that. It probably did, and she probably did again, and it's probably going to Deuce. And we can theorize all of these things. We can have our opinions. We don't know 100% for sure. What we do know is I was on the call, Randy was on the call, Florida IT was on the call, and also a Motorola Moto, which we then find out that's Crook. Oh, and we find out he doesn't even know how to hang up his phone or get off a Zoom at the end. And that was maybe the most condemning part. Can't wait to share that with you. And then we have an iPhone. That would be LIEnette. Oh, and boy, this got heated. And the judge got heated and trying to ensure that this doesn't go the same route that Deuce has taken it in the past. So you have the court clerk or the bailiff, it could have been either or, who then comes up on the Zoom call and says, "All right, are we all here?" "Yep, everybody's here. I'll go get the judge." And there's a reminder, just a reminder, nobody has to turn their cameras on. As a matter of fact, nobody did. It was just audio, and there was no echo this time. The judge says, "Good morning," and he goes through a roll call. "Mr. Shockett, are you here?" "Yep, I'm here." "Mr. Hales, are you here?" "Yep, good morning, Judge," which is exactly what Mr. Shockett said as well. And we've got Crook in the roll call as well. He's on the Moto, and LIEnette's on the iPhone. And we've got the roll call. They admit that they are there. I guess it's not admitting. They are stating that they are there on their cell phones. And the judge goes over yet again. This is a federal court case. No recording is permitted. And he goes through the entire roll call. Mr. Shockett, Mr. Hales, LIEnette, Crook, and everybody says, "Yes, sir." And Crook goes on to say, "I don't even know how." Now, isn't that interesting? Because Crook recorded himself stalking me and Brett Granger, Madam Mayor Teresa's husband, to my own property in Brett's truck and my trailer as we picked up, I think I paid almost $10,000 for that storage unit with the bear. Yet he doesn't know how to record. Interesting. Yet we have his recordings. Let me tell you, so many lies and so many attacks were being thrown around. Oh, did we learn anything about their new lawyer? You're about to find out. So we go on, and the judge goes over all the previous history. Now, not like Judge Grudge did in Levy County, the insanity of all of that. It was, this is where we were, now this is where we're heading. And he goes over the previous phone call. And then he goes on to say, and yes, I've got notes. Oh, this is the one you want to, that one is the back. It's crazy. He goes on to say, "We've not seen any lawyer actually file a motion of representation yet. Is that correct?" And LIEnette says, "Well, I just have to sign the paperwork and I have to make a payment." Now, this is where I'm most concerned, okay? Because there absolutely is going to need to be a lawyer. And I think the judge figured that out today in a very real way. There is going to have to be, because it got out of control yet again, and the judge had to bring it back into control. So you've got Deuce out there claiming that he has the $6,000 for a lawyer. Do you understand? Just to read the filings, the absurdity of what Deuce has filed, that $6,000 is done within a day, 2 days for any competent lawyer. All right, let's say you're not a competent lawyer. All right, it's gone in a week. Just reading the docket that he is so proud he papered this case to death. He's made very public statements about that. Delays, so proud. I delayed it for 5 months. He never delayed anything. He made a fool out of himself, and now he's caught himself as a defendant in a case, that's for sure. But he never delayed what was already scheduled out in this case. He definitely hurt his clients, and frankly, he's hurt me and my income as well. And I think that's probably what he's most proud about. All right, but let's keep going on. And LIEnette says, I just need to sign paperwork and I may need to make a payment. And the judge goes on, okay, so Crook, to be clear, the judge is calling Cook, not Crook. Keep in mind, the reason why I use aliases is to protect those individuals so they don't get doxxed. Oh, and doxing it came up in a hefty and heated way in this conversation. And he goes, all right, so Crook, I'm expecting that you're representing yourself. And Crook says, yes, I am. Representing myself, like loud and proud. And you realize only a fool hires himself or uses himself as a lawyer. Any competent lawyer will tell you that. And Crook made one of the biggest mistakes ever at the end. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it's all recorded. It's all on Zoom. It's all recorded. I've got Randy on the phone with the courts right now to pull it up. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. So the judge says, okay, well, here's what's going on then. LIEnette, if you have a lawyer, then your lawyer needs to file notice of appearance, and it needs to be promptly. That is the exact word he used, promptly. In other words, not in a week, not in 2 weeks. You are not delaying this any longer. It happens now. And then the judge states, as of right now, I am lifting the stay on this case. Now, if you're wondering what a stay is on a case, a stay is a pause. So everything that's been going on in the case, he went, pause, and it went on for this amount of time, and he went, now we're unpaused, and it is back on hefty and heavy, very heavy, because he says your original discovery deadline, discovery is all the evidence. And remember, they haven't submitted any evidence. Now, they have submitted what they have considered evidence. They have not submitted what we've asked for. Anything from the GPS on the vehicle to phone calls, phone records, and text messages and emails. You know, all the things that we already have, her in writing stated that she deleted. Woo! Spoilage? Okay. So she says, oh wait, no. He says, the judge says, geez, too many notes, lots of notes. Judge says discovery deadline was originally April 7th. And that Deuce withdraws. And by the way, he kept stating that Matskin or Deuce withdrew. Didn't state anything about them firing him. He knows exactly what happened and what was going on. Deuce withdraws, and he goes, you have 4 days as of right now, as of today, for discovery. Discovery ends in 4 days. And they have submitted insufficient for everything, which Randy has already had a motion ready compelling of discovery, okay? So Randy then goes, okay, well, Judge, I've got a motion to compel discovery, and the judge goes, well, you need to confer with LIEnette and Crook. And then we get into this entire insanity about phone numbers. Okay, so, oh boy, let's just get into the conversation. Then we'll get into the opinion on the conversation. So judge says, so what are you seeking to compel? And Randy says, request to actually produce discovery or evidence. They haven't done it. And judge says, okay, well, you're going to have to confer with LIEnette and Crook. Again, keeping in mind, I use LIEnette and Crook. The names I use isn't to be derogatory. I mean, you can see Garbage Pail Kids all around me. It isn't to be derogatory. It's because I don't want to use people's real names out on the internet. Now, regardless of whether they use mine or not, I don't use their real names, even if their real names and information are all in public documents. That's just the way I roll. So he goes, you're gonna have to confer with LIEnette and Crook. And then he tells LIEnette and Crook, you need to talk to Mr. Shockett, and you need to produce discovery. And he goes, do you understand, LIEnette? Again, just a reminder, I say LIEnette. He never said LIEnette. And she goes, yes, I do. I just wish I had more time to get with my lawyer on board. More time to get with the lawyer on board. $6,000 for a lawyer to even begin to read and comprehend and understand this. Go figure that one out. And then he asks Crook, do you understand? Crook goes, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Okay. Then he goes on, because there's interrupting as you might imagine, with LIEnette and Crook. And there's confrontation and there's arguing and everybody can't understand. He gives this whole professionalism speech. He goes, you are going to work together. Despite disagreements, we are going to work together. If we don't agree, and so he's going on in regards to the motion, because there's going to be some information that comes up in regards to that. In regards to the motion, if LIEnette and Crook don't agree with Randy when he files a motion, if they don't agree to confer, if they disagree on the motion, he goes, we're just going to litigate it. We'll be right here. We'll litigate it. And he goes on to say, do you have any questions to Randy? And Randy says, well, I don't have any additional questions. Oh, wait, no, hold a second. He didn't say that to Randy. He said, man, there's so many notes to take. He said that to LIEnette, do you have any questions? And she goes, no, but I wanted to say something. Can you keep this off YouTube? And she goes on this whole spiel, okay? We've already heard it. We heard the whole narrative of Jeremy and George have only done this for YouTube content, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, right? Has nothing to do with content. We vlog our lives. They invade our lives. They stalk us. They harass us. They are found guilty. They are found in contempt multiple times. They're going back to Ohio court very, very soon with hundreds of contempt charges. Again, they haven't been found guilty or innocent yet, but it's happening, it's going on. So we get into this whole aspect. She's crying, I don't want it on YouTube. That's funny because what did she want to do? She wanted to use my YouTube channel to launch her YouTube channel to grift money and promotion. And we have all the evidence of such. All the evidence has been shown. Okay. But now all of a sudden she got what she wanted. She got promotion. She just didn't get the promotion the way she wanted because what she did was illegal. And she's getting money from freaks and fools. My goodness. But now she doesn't want it on YouTube? So the judge goes, listen, and there's this whole discussion and argument back and forth. The judge goes, listen, you can file a motion. And the judge literally goes into teaching mode, which kind of reminds me of Judge Grudge in Levy County Courthouse, but nowhere near to that extreme or bad. But the judge obviously knows he has pro se litigants here, and he's going to have to educate them or we're going to get nowhere. And so he goes on, listen, you can file a motion, but this is First Amendment. And so you're going to have an extreme difficult time with any kind of suppression of communication. He has every right to say whatever he wants in regards to this as long as it's not illegal defamation and slander. Oh, that's right. That's the kind of case that we're in right now because of the illegal defamation and slander. If I say it and it's true, it's legal. End of story. And now the judge is educating them on that. You can't get a gag. She asked for a gag order on me. He goes, do you realize how difficult it is to get a gag order even in a criminal case? And this is a civil case. You can file a motion. He goes, I'll look at it. But he has a First Amendment right. So somebody who invades my life, somebody who stalks me, cries victim because they got what they wanted. People know their name now. That's what they wanted. They wanted to use me and my platform and my money, which I see constantly. And it's sick. It's gross. It's disgusting. And he has to give her a lesson on First Amendment rights. And then he goes on to say, Crook, do you understand that you must work with Attorney Shockett? And then Crook goes, yeah. And then he starts bringing up a case that has nothing to do with Fed 1. And he goes, yes. He goes, so, for example, he goes, I just disagreed with him bringing in bone. I just disagreed with him bringing up boneless in Fed 2, which he doesn't know it's Fed 2. Crook has no clue. As a matter of fact, if anything, he's probably on the bottle again because there's something seriously wrong. And he starts bringing up boneless in Fed 2 because Randy just filed a motion to amend the name John Doe in Fed 2 to the actual name of boneless, okay? And so Crook disagrees with him. Well, that's not going to go anywhere with Crook disagreeing. And the judge has to educate him again. That has nothing to do with this case. Nothing. We are here on this case and only this case. So Crook looks like a crook yet again. And so there's this whole education portion yet again on lawsuits and what lawsuit he's in and what lawsuit we're meeting on. Remember, Crook didn't even show up at the last one. And so Crook then goes, well, since we're no longer on a stay, I can file my motion tomorrow for summary judgment, right? So if you remember, Crook already filed a motion for summary judgment, and it was stricken from the docket. Now, everybody knows that it was Deuce that actually wrote it, and it's even footnoted that my lawyer wrote this previously. Now, is that true? I guess we're going to find out when we actually subpoena all records. Listen, you delete messages going back and forth. It's not deleted. It's on the web. And so we'll be subpoenaing a lot of things. And this is going to affect Deuce in a lot of ways. And he goes, so can I file my summary judgment tomorrow? That was already stricken from the record, right? And the judge goes, you can feel free. It's education class again. He goes, you can feel free to file whatever you want tomorrow. But he goes, in regards to the summary judgment, you realize you get one shot and that's it. You don't get to keep filing it day after day after day. You get one shot at a summary judgment motion, and that will be it. He goes, do you understand it? And he goes, and Crook goes, he said, my motion speaks for itself. Wait until you hear what what Crook said about the judge, as Crook was speaking for himself when he didn't think that the judge was on the Zoom anymore. Oh boy. So Crook's, my motion speaks for himself. Randy goes, Judge, may I be heard? And Judge says, yeah. He goes, you already stated no summary judgments until after discovery, and which is exactly what happened. So Deuce was reprimanded as we were in Pensacola, and he stated in that meeting there will be no summary judgments filed until after discovery. It is not appropriate. It is not legal. You know how you go on a golf course, you don't walk in front of somebody's path where they're going to hit a ball. There's an appropriateness. There's rules. There's guidelines. You don't file for summary judgment before discovery even ends, and discovery hasn't ended. It ends in 4 days. 4 days. And what do we have in regards to discovery right now? Nothing. And Randy is filing right now, compel for discovery, because they haven't. And the judge has said, listen, if they don't provide anything, I'm going to deal with it, and I'll deal with them. And so the judge then tells Crook, he goes, you know what, that's exactly what I said. And he goes, you need to wait 4 days before you file that summary judgment again. And so that's where we're at. And Randy goes on to say, listen, Judge, we've received no discovery. And he goes, so in regards to discovery, we had April 7th, then everything went on stay. And he goes, we have 4 days for discovery. There's no way they can get us everything by then. We're going to have to extend discovery because 4 days, we have nothing. And so the judge goes, no, I want this moving forward. We are not stopping this for anything anymore. And he goes, so if they don't provide discovery, I'm going to deal with it here in the courts. And I will create an order to where they must provide discovery, and we'll deal with it in litigation here in the courts. Randy goes, all right, as long as you're good to deal with it, then we don't need to expand the schedule out anymore. In other words, what the judge is saying, this needs to happen. Jeremy has filed for relief. You understand, something has happened illegal against me. I file a lawsuit. Relief is what happens with the judgment afterwards. Now, it can go my way, which I really believe it will, or it could go against me, which I don't believe will happen. But that's the relief, okay? So Randy says, well, they won't even commit. And Randy goes, they won't communicate. They won't commit to communicating. They won't do anything. As a matter of fact, they've been dodging servers like crazy. There are process servers multiple times. Crook has come out, met the process server who is serving LIEnette, and has blatantly lied to the process server and said LIEnette doesn't live here. By the way, it's all recorded and it's all going to be in court. And so now we have more lies and more perjury in court. I mean, the things that they keep doing to themselves, it is mind-blowing and mind-boggling. So LIEnette then states, Randy says, listen, I need their phone number. They won't communicate with me. I have their email addresses. They don't communicate there. I need their phone numbers. And LIEnette goes, I will not give out my number. Oh, and here we go with the doxing and the fighting and the yelling. And Crook goes, I'll get 10,000 calls up from the internet. Now, let's keep something in mind. I have screenshots of Crook doxing my personal phone number. They've taken my personal and private phone number and they put it out on the internet where I had probably hundreds, nowhere near thousands, hundreds of unsolicited phone calls, which is very easy for me to take care of. I don't answer my phone unless I have the number programmed in my phone. I don't answer. And if there's a message and it's not somebody I want to talk to, they immediately get blocked. That's how I handle that. I don't answer my phone unless you're programmed in my phone. And then you're blocked if you're not programmed in my phone. And so these freaks have already put my phone number out there. Now my personal email address has been doxed as well and put out there multiple. I mean, literally putting it out to other harassers, paid for hire harassers. Do you understand how this all keeps adding up and what this is going to do with them in court? The insanity. And we have all the ties to them as well. All the communication, all the chats and you'll see more of that in court. All right, so LIEnette is going, I'm not giving my number out, and Crook's going, I'll get 10,000 calls on the internet. These are freaks and fools that have already put my information out there. They're literally projecting what they've already done to me. I have never put their phone number out there. Now, LIEnette has had her personal phone number out there. And remember when the police actually arrested Crook and took her phone, and then she had to get another phone number. Her phone was taken for evidence because of the videos on it. She had to get another phone and another phone number. But she's here in court telling the judge that she had to get another phone number because I doxed her phone number. No, her phone number was all over the internet with her turd purgatory. She begged people to contact her and talk to her. If you want the truth, contact me. Never, ever have I put any of their information out there. End of story. All right. So LIEnette and Crook are yelling and screaming. And LIEnette's going, Your Honor, Your Honor. And the judge says, stop! We don't speak over each other. He got his real first dose of LIEnette and Crook and the insanity that is coming into that courthouse. You know, Deuce called LIEnette white trailer trash. You know that, right? Yeah, we can prove it. Well, the judge has all the toe has tipped into the water and he knows the temperature now. And he yells and he stops. And he goes, we are going to have order. And this is the way it's going to happen. And he goes, I hear what you're saying. And he goes to Randy, he goes, what if I issue a protective order? Remember what we asked for in the federal court case? Deuce wants all my financials. He wants my contracts. And we said, sure, if you actually put it in a protective order, it's confidential and he can't share it with anybody because you know the very first thing he's going to do is he's going to put it in the hands of people that want to create harm and harass. And so he never agreed to it, never agreed to a protective order. Now, to be very clear, I already have LIEnette's new number. It was in the police reports. I already have it. I have it programmed in my phone so that I could block it in my phone so she couldn't further harass me. You see where I'm going there? I have Crook's number as well, blocked in my phone so they can't further harass me. I have their numbers. So if I wanted to dox their numbers, it would have happened already, right? So she's claiming that I'm going to dox. I already have her number, her new one from the police report. It would have happened already, but it hasn't because we are not like them. All right. So the judge goes, listen, Randy, what do you think about protective order? The numbers are only to be given to the lawyer. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh my goodness, I already have the numbers. It doesn't even matter. And Randy goes, yeah, that sounds great. There has to be communication. We can't keep playing these games of them dodging all communication, refusing to communicate with me. And Randy goes, yeah, we'll do the protective order. That's fine. And yeah, that's fine. Absolutely. I don't care as long as they're communicating and we move forward for relief. In this case, relief for me, for George, for Deanna, for Christian, Patience, Pepper, for many of those who you love, Kaylin, for Eric, for Dr. Crystal, Dr. Tracy, for Travis Willis, what you doing with, all these people that I love. Relief for all of them, because it's not just me being attacked, it's all of them, and it all trickles down. And so LIEnette goes, we disagree wholeheartedly. Crook goes, I'll call him with a blocked number. Wait, hold a second. You're going to call a lawyer with a blocked number. As a matter of fact, I just got a call during this meeting with a blocked number. As a matter of fact, oh, where is it? Oh, there we go. Suspected spam. Suspected spam. You see it? You know what happens when you get called with a blocked number? You don't answer it. So Crook, they're yelling again. They're yelling and screaming. And we disagree wholeheartedly. Crook, I'll call him with a blocked number. LIEnette, I had an order. And then we go on to LIEnette. I had an order. I had a temporary order on him here in Florida. He got a fraudulent order on me in Ohio. They don't care. I had to change my number. I mean, it just went on and on. And so she literally to the judge goes, I got a phone call. My daughter got a phone call. It wasn't her. My daughter got a phone call. Somebody asked her, do you like giving? You know what she's accused others of doing on my property? Let's sing a little song. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. All right, so she is accusing somebody of giving to somebody else on my property across the street. Yet she has no proof, no evidence, even though her cameras are right there. And she literally says to the judge, somebody called my number and asked my daughter if she likes giving to the turtles. Huh. Hold a second. If I don't have her new number, how did that happen? If she gives us the number and it's going to be doxxed, how'd that happen? LIEnette gives her number to these freaks and these fools. Okay, and she goes on to say, judge says to Randy, okay, listen, Randy, if they call you in a blocked, would that work? And Randy goes, yeah, it would work if they actually called me back. They dodge everything. This is a serious issue. And so the judge says, they start screaming and yelling again. And as you can see this, I have written in bold, judge says, we're not doing this. Very much so raising his voice to the same level I just did on the Zoom call to LIEnette and Crook again, who you can't even understand all the insanity of what's going on, which, by the way, they are in the same room. And I can tell you that for sure because of the end of the Zoom call, which Randy is literally on the court with the court right now, getting it into the judge's hands because of what Crook did at the end. And then he says, judge says, this case is not going to go this way. And he yells, be quiet to LIEnette and Crook. He says, this case is not going to go the way that it has. And he's referring to what Deuce has done. And he said, this is not happening any longer. This is not going the direction it has. And he put some laws down, not real laws, but guidelines for this case moving forward. And he's very upset. LIEnette and Crook will not shut up. And I'm not saying a word, nor should I. I have a lawyer that I pay for him. And the judge then says, if they will not communicate with you, and if they will not confer with you, I will address it legally with them. And so Randy goes, great, let's move forward. I'll send them an email, and then they can call me to my number, and they can call blocked, and we'll confer. And so the judge says to LIEnette and Crook finally, email is sufficient. You have to do it. Do you understand? You have to communicate with Randy. And LIEnette says, well, I'll just set up a new email today just for him. Isn't this interesting that we already know of so many email addresses for LIEnette and all these other freaks and fools in this anti-what the Hales ecosystem that Deuce set up. And you even have one of the biggest freaks, and I mean size, stating that that's not his email when we share proof of his emails. Do you understand how many different emails and alt accounts or sock puppet accounts? If you're going, what's a sock puppet account? Sock puppet account, this is me. But if I create an account that isn't me, but I put it under another name, I don't know, like George Brown, it's a sock pretending to be somebody. That's a sock puppet account. By the way, I'm not George Brown. No, but we absolutely know who is with almost 20 other sock fake accounts. And all of these freaks are doing the same thing. So LIEnette now is all of a sudden going to set up a whole new, brand new email address just for Randy. I bet Randy feels special. Okay. Oh, well, wait, hold a second. How's Randy going to get that email address since he doesn't have the number, which by the way, I have not given the phone numbers to Randy. Do you recognize this? I haven't even given their phone numbers that I haven't even given them to my lawyer, let alone doxed them. And yet the things that they have done to George and I. Okay. All right. And so Judge goes on and says, do you check your email regularly? And Crook says, I answered his email yesterday within 5 minutes. I was waiting for 15 minutes, but nope, 5 minutes. And Judge says, all right, here's the deal. I'm going to grant you this. But if you create an issue, there will be an order and you will have to provide your numbers to Randy. Which again, I haven't even given their numbers to Randy. I have them. I haven't given them to anybody, nor do I intend to, ever. I want them out of our lives legally. They stalk us, they harass us, they defame us with so many others, and they've gotten away with it until us. All right, so then the judge goes on after really putting his foot down on these freaks and fools. He goes, listen, we've got some pending motions out there too. He goes, from what I can see on the docket, we got a pending motion of 109 and 110 to dismiss counterclaims. Is that correct? Randy says, yes, that's correct. And that's from the plaintiff's side. And from the defendant's side, we have a motion to dismiss. That's docket 117. Is that correct? And Randy says, well, I think I already responded to that motion. And the judge says, I'm not seeing it on the docket. Can you double check? And Randy says yes. And then the judge says, listen, it's going to be in the order today. All parties have 14 days to respond to the pending motions. You have 2 weeks. 2 weeks to respond to the pending motions. It'll be in the actual order today. 2 weeks. There are pending motions, 109, 110, 117. You got 2 weeks and that's it. Discovery is going to end in 4 days. You got 2 weeks to take care of responses to pending motions. Judge says there will be no more motions needed in this case. And he emphasizes no more motions. What's Deuce going to do with all his free time and no clients? He can't draft motions for LIEnette and CROOK anymore because the judge said there will be no more motions. He said there'll be no more motions in this case. We're not going back to daily motions. Do you understand? Randy says, yeah, I get it, Judge. You realize it wasn't me. And the judge says, well, you responded to him. That's Randy's job, is to respond to the motions. That was what Deuce was doing, trying to get me to spend as much money and trying to prolong and paper this case. So you already have old Dickie Luthman saying he's going to paper the case in Fed 2. I got a feeling this judge ain't going to allow it. He's not even allowing another motion in Fed 1. And he goes, do you understand a CROOK? And CROOK goes, yeah, I don't feel like driving 2 hours to file a motion anyway. All right. He's trying to refer to he has to drive into Gainesville to the district court and then drive back. Hour to Gainesville, hour back. Shocked he didn't get lost in Gainesville trying to find his way to Gainesville. Maybe called Deuce for directions. Who knows? And then he goes, previously, and if you all remember, previously Deuce filed and he said, listen, let's just get rid of mediation. Mediation is a time to come together where you talk about settlements. Now, we have talked about Fed 2 case where there is a Dave that has come forward that wants a settlement. Now, what we've called it is a deal, okay? Deal, settlement, same thing. Wants to do a deal with me, wants to do a settlement with me. This same process will happen in the Fed 2 case as well. It will go to mediation before it actually goes to be heard in court to see if it can be settled. So one of these Daves has actually tried to settle it before even mediation. And we're going to be sharing who that Dave is specifically this Sunday night. So you're going to want to be on the live stream, and we're going to share by name who that Dave is, which of the 2 Daves. And then we go and he goes, listen, beforehand I said no mediation. He goes, I'm putting it back in. There's now going to be mediation. I am now requiring mediation. And after he saw the insanity of these two, and he goes, do you understand, LIEnette? Again, keeping in mind, he didn't say LIEnette. He said Miss Preston. Do you understand, LIEnette? LIEnette says, I do, but it won't do any good because this is a soap opera of content for him on YouTube. This is the same woman who stalked me to Otter Creek because of YouTube. This is the same woman who begged for promotion and money from YouTuber. This is the same woman that knows that I vlog my daily life that she has inserted herself in, and now she's crying and complaining about it. This is the same woman who has profited hugely. She's going to lose everything. I have no doubt whatsoever going to lose everything in court. So many court cases right now. And yet now she's crying about it's for YouTube. And yet here she is pushing and promoting other YouTube channels, profiting off of the drama that she's created in my life. How's that going to look to a jury in court? She wants to cry, oh, Jeremy's doing this for YouTube. And we literally have screenshots of her promoting other anti-What the Hales ecosystem members on YouTube saying, that's my voice. Watch them do this. Yeah, I don't think a jury's going to go for that. Okay. And the judge says, listen, you're going to stop right here. She's just going on and on. He goes, you're going to stop right here. Listen, LIEnette. He goes, you will go in with an open mind. You're going to mediation. And she goes, you're just providing him with more content for YouTube. And then she goes, do you know they're posting pictures of my little girl in a diaper? Who posted pictures of the little girl in a diaper? On the internet. Oh, that's right. That was LIEnette. LIEnette, the person accusing people of posting pictures of a little girl in a diaper, is the one who posted the picture of a little girl in a diaper. How's that going to look to a jury? Oh, and then those diapers were all ditched and dumped illegally on Dead Dog Road. And then the diapers were matched per pattern. Can you imagine being the judge right now? I mean, I didn't get to say a word. I just listened to this whole thing, and my head was just like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. All right, 4 pages of notes we've gone through so far. Don't be peeking on the back. That one's double-sided. Judge says, you don't have to tell me how to do my job. He puts her in her place. He goes, you don't have to tell me how to do my job. And LIEnette continues to rant and interrupt. She goes, he's never gonna stop. Hold a second. How did this begin? That's right. They stalk us, defame us, harass us. So what stops it? They leave. They stop stalking. They stop harassing. And guess what? There's nothing. It's a pretty simple solution, isn't it? No, I would agree with her. There's nothing going to be accomplished in mediation, fullest extent of the law. The only thing that I will settle for is they leave, and they sign everything over to me so I can recoup my cost. I'm at $340,000 so far. I got 3 bills, legal bills in my email right now. I haven't even looked at them for 3 days because it makes me sick how much money I've spent. But I will spend every last penny fighting for justice and to clear my name that they have tarnished. And same with the rest of these freaks. And the judge goes, Cook, do you understand mediation? He goes, yeah, I had a divorce once. Oh, just once? Because LIEnette's had one 7 times. Oh, Crook has had more than one divorce as well. LIEnette being one of them. And Crook then goes on to say, if it goes to Zoom, I'm not doing it. It's going to be broadcasted all over the internet. These are the freaks that wanted to be broadcasted all over the internet. Why they stalked us. Judge says, okay, I can work with you. We'll do it in person. We'll do it here in the courthouse. We'll do mediation in person. And Crook goes, no, then I have to drive. That's my gas money. Crook's worried about gas money when he's being sued for millions for his illegal actions. And he's worried about gas money. $6,000, a little bit over, is in Deuce's hands for a lawyer who hasn't even filed a notice of appearance in this case yet, and they're leaving Crook out high and dry with no legal representation, looking like a fool. and he's worried about gas money. Like the most ridiculous thing you could worry about is what he's worried about. And Crook goes, I will not go on Zoom. And he goes, I'm not giving them any more content. This is our gas money. Not giving any more content, as he's literally taking a fence and putting more trash on it and more trash on it and more trash. They literally break the civil protection order time and time again. They have third-party hundreds, if not thousands, of contempt charges coming for third-party contact. He doesn't want any more content? You think he would stop? All right. So judge says, all right. Judge goes, hey, Randy, do you know any mediators locally that'll mediate locally? He goes, yeah, they're in Gainesville, but mediators would travel. We'll just go to the Levy County Courthouse. And Crook goes, well, if I have to go, then I'll go. That was his answer to the judge. Insanity. And Randy then speaks up and he goes, listen, they were both saying a lot of horrific things about me. And you realize Deuce has done the same thing in motions, while Randy's kept professionalism, and we'll battle that out in court with a jury. And Randy says, listen, I hope you don't put any weight into these extra attacks on my client here today. And the judge says, listen, for everybody, I'm here for one reason, the law. That's it. So anything LIEnette says, anything Crook says, it doesn't matter. I'm here for the law, and that is it. And so the judge reassures Randy, whatever they said doesn't matter. I'm only here to litigate the law. And there's this whole conversation back and forth and argument about mediation. The judge wants mediation now, even though Deuce filed to eliminate mediation. The judge agreed. Now the judge is saying, no, you're going to mediation. And LIEnette and Crook are screaming about it. And LIEnette goes, Your Honor, you can find your answer out today, in regards to whether mediation will go. She goes, because all you have to do is ask them to take all the false accusations against us. I will not admit I'm guilty. And the judge goes, you do realize that mediation doesn't mean you admit you're guilty. Mediation is usually there's a settlement and you both parties walk away happy. Now, I want to be very, very clear. I will not settle whatsoever unless they are gone. They leave everything behind and they leave with the clothes on their back. And everything is signed over to me so I can recoup the cost. Now, you're going to go, well, they're not going to have anything. I agree. You got the thumbnail case. They're going to have sanctions, legal fees. I've already got one lien coming on their property for legal fees in Ohio. There will be more for legal fees in Ohio. Now we're going to have thumbnail. Then you've got trespass 5 case. They're being sued for $55,000 plus damages. There is going to be nothing. Agreed. Which means there will not be any kind of deal or settlement that happens. They have nothing to deal with or settle with. What they do have is 4 days. 4 days to send in discovery. But you already know they're not going to. And so LIEnette then goes, you want me to pay him money to make this all go away? She's screaming and she's ranting about, this is just adding to our trauma. And we've got cameras 15 feet up in the air. Let me be very clear. There are no cameras 15 feet up in the air. I mean, I don't know how many times I have to say it. The insanity that goes on in these insane minds going, there's a camera and there's a camera and I counted this and this and this. There are no cameras. There's a trail camera. And the judge yet again. He screamed, I'm here for the law. Has to put her in place yet again. I mean, he got a good taste, more than I thought he was going to get. I thought they would actually not be so unhinged. They were completely and totally unhinged. And the worst of it is at the end, which I'm almost to. And he goes, I'm here for the legal. I'm here for the law. And the judge goes, you know what? It sounds like there's a lot of things going on outside of here. And he goes, I don't care. I'm here for litigation. And you will act in a professional manner. He lays down the law again. And then he goes, as you can see, I have it in bold. We won't have any problems. We are going to move forward with this case and eventually get it off the docket so there's relief. Now, at that point, the judge asks, are there any more questions? Ask Randy, nope, we're all good. Ask me, nope, we're all good. Ask LIEnette, ask Crook, all good. And the judge says, okay, thank you, right? LIEnette hangs up on Zoom. Randy hangs up on Zoom. I don't. I'm on mute. I'm just sitting here at my desk and I'm on mute. Crook doesn't hang up, and neither does the Florida court. This is insane. I couldn't believe it as it's happening. Crook starts saying, and it's all recorded on Zoom, about the judge, what a douche bag. And he goes over and over. And then LIEnette is in the same room with Crook, and they're yelling and screaming about the money. We're going to have to pay him money to make this all go away, for like 5 minutes. And it's all recorded. And so Crook is saying about the judge, what a D-bag. And I finally speak up. The judge is still on, but on mute. And I finally speak up. I say, are you hearing this right now, Judge? I call Randy immediately. I put myself back on mute on Zoom, and I call Randy. I'm like, he's calling the judge a D-bag right now. They're arguing about the money they're going to have to pay me to settle in mediation. And I go, you have to call the court and make sure that this is preserved for court. He goes, I'm on it right now. He goes, call me when they finally get off. And a couple minutes later, the court finally gets off the Zoom. It's all recorded. It's all preserved for evidence. Professionalism. The judge just got his first taste of what it's like to be around these freaks, these fools, a LIEnette and a Crook.